Before I start sketching out the white box level, there are a couple of things I like to do. First, I usually switch on the floor guide in the guides menu. This helps me orient myself while I work. I then place a puppet in the scene, or whichever character the player will use, to give myself a scale reference. Now, I'll start sketching out a 3D map of the level in sculpt mode. For this, I'm mostly focusing on the layout and usability, not so much on the look. They do have a relationship, of course, but to start with, I like to deal with them separately. If they're both great in their own right, then when you bring them together, they'll be awesome. At this stage, it's usually a good idea to have a plan of what you want to make. Maybe sketch out a map on paper or have an idea of the gameplay. I'm going to make a treasure hunt against the clock, set on a tropical island with a main path and lots of side paths to explore. It will have a start and end and pass through 3 themed areas. I use the stamp or smear shape tool for sketching, with a shape which is about as wide as 5 times the height of the puppet. You can resize it a bit as you need to, but it's good to stay aware of the scale. Using the wireless controller, it's best to make your big movements viewed from the side. So I always position the camera side on to whatever I'm doing, to minimize having to move in and out of the screen. Also, I don't make my sculpt edits too large. Having them in manageable chunks will make them easier to remove piece by piece later. As I'm sketching, I imagine running through the environment as a player. How far off the main path can they go, and where is off limits? Every time I make a significant change, I go into play mode and playtest the scene. I put myself in the player's shoes as if I've never seen the game before. Can I see where I'm supposed to go next? Are there vantage points where I can get a good view of what's ahead? Is it too easy and boring, or too difficult and annoying to get from A to B? I don't want the player to backtrack, so I'll add some drop-downs where they can't go back. There are many other ways to do this, like gates that close or collapsing bridges if you want to get really fancy. Don't forget to add checkpoint gadgets to your finished level if you do use this technique. It's important to leave plenty of space for the props that I'll be adding later. I also like to add side paths that are more difficult to find so that I can hide pickups in them. I'm not worried about making it super detailed or polished at this stage. The beauty of this approach is that I can edit it as I go. I'm pretty happy with this white box level now, so when you're ready, let's move on to the next step.